having like 8 gigabytes left. And I don't do anything. Everything we get, it doesn't get saved on my computer, but it's low. All right, look at it. Right, think about this, children. Again, here it is. Okay, from the book even. Make sure you jot this down under, well, I don't know, scale factor. Under scale factor. Scale factor. You really don't need these two things here. When it comes to area, you have to take the scale factor and square it. This is with similar shapes, with similar solids actually. We're talking three-dimensional stuff, or two-dimensional things. Okay, but you can be, when you talk about a solid having surface area, okay, when it comes to volume, you take the surface or the scale factor and you cube it to find the new volume. So looking at the problem they asked you there, we jot down the two cylinders. The two cylinders are similar. So you've got one cylinder here, you've got one cylinder here, and them are pretty nice looking cylinders, except for the fact that you did this one wrong. This one has to be a little bit bigger. It's 2 and 3. This side is 2, this side is 3. The two cylinders are similar. The lateral surface area of the small cylinder is 20 pi. The LSA of the small one is 20 pi, lateral surface area. Then what is the lateral surface area of the large one? LSA. I'm going to do this incredibly slowly so you can't pick up on this. Okay. The first thing you want to figure out is what is the scale factor? What is scale factor? Which means, what am I multiplying 2 by to get 3? Now that's not an easy thing because it'd be nice if it was 4 because then it would just be 2 times 2. Okay? Or if it was 6, it'd be nice because it'd be 2 times 3, but it's 2 times what is 3? And fortunately for you kids, you have this capability because you can just make an equation with that and figure out what the answer is. What did I say? 2 times what number is 3? You can figure that out. You are smart enough for that. 2 times what number is 3? 2n equals 3. If you figure out that equation, n has to be 1.5 or just 3/2. It doesn't matter. This is the scale factor. My scale factor is 3/2. And you can deal with fractions because you're 8th graders as well. Sometimes decimals you think are better just because they're easier. They're not. Well, sometimes fractions aren't so bad to work with either. Now, what am I talking about? Am I talking about volume of the new one or the area of the new one?
Area.
Area. It says this was the lateral surface area of this one. If I'm talking about area, then what do I do to the scale factor?
Times it by 3/2. 3/2 times 3/2.
I square the scale factor. My scale factor was 3/2. I square it, which I think you're capable of because it's 3/2 times 3/2, which is 9/4. The new cylinder is 9/4 times bigger. This is how much bigger it is. That's not its new volume. That's how many times bigger it is. So you have to take the 9/4 and multiply it by, what did it say? This. You are looking for the scale factor for volume for this, and the scale factor for the volume of this is times 9/4. Now the beauty of that is 9/4 times 20 pi is not a bad deal either because you're just going to do 4 goes into 20 how many times?
5
times. What is 9 times 5 pi? 45 pi. You don't have to actually do the formula for this new thing because you know what happens when you do scale factors. Okay, but it takes a little bit of thought. It takes a few steps. You just got to keep yourself focused and organized with that. What about letter B? The volume of a model car built to 1/20th scale is what fraction of the volume of the car? And again, to me, that's awful confusing to me. Is it confusing to you?
Just a little, just confusing.
Watch how much less confusing it is if you sketch it out. Your car doesn't have to be very good. We've got a car. You've got a model car. This is going to be, look at how nice of a model car that is. This is the model. The real car looks like this. What did it say the dimensions? What is the ratio? It is 1 on the small car is 20 on the big car. So knowing that, my scale factor is 20 times bigger, right? Correct? You with me on that?
Yeah, I am correct.
But now you have to ask yourself, am I talking about volume or area? What's the question it's asking?
Volume.
So now I have to take the scale factor, has to be cubed for volume. So I need to take 20 times 20 times 20 because this is how many times bigger the volume of this new thing is going to be. That's the scale factor for its volume. 20 times 20 times 20 is 8,000. So if this thing had a volume of 1, this thing would have a volume of 8,000. That still doesn't answer my question. Because the question said, you're supposed to make a fraction. What fraction, the volume of the model car is what fraction of the volume of the big car? So they want you to fraction with the model on top and the real thing on the bottom. Well, the model is 1, the real thing is 8,000. So what fraction of the volume is the model? It's 1/8,000th of what the real car would be. 1/8,000, kids. You know what that means? It's kind of small. But again, it sounded more confusing than it is until you kind of sketch it out and kind of think what they're looking for. Okay, what about letter C? And it's still a little confusing, granted. You are 8th graders, but
Would that be an inch? Is this like?
it's in whatever it is, inches, feet, whatever dimension they give you would be.
Is this high school math?
Well, I hope so. It's kind of.
Wow.
It's deep thinking. How about that?
That's, yeah.
Achieving the high schoolers.
I'm sure they do. Letter C. A toy doll modeled after an infant is 1/3 scale model. The first thing I would do is draw that out. I don't even know what question they're asking me. But the doll is 1. The real person.
Where's its arms?
Those are.
Yeah.
Those
are
Interesting. Don't get. What is from the smaller to the bigger? What is the scale factor? If it goes from 1 to 3, it is 3 times. Okay. 3 times bigger. That's my scale factor. My scale factor equals 3. Now the question they ask is this: the amount of material required to clothe the doll. By the way, if you're looking for a material to clothe, wrap a present, clothe, are you talking about volume or are you talking about surface area? So that right away tells you if the regular scale factor is 3, the area scale factor is going to be 3 squared, which is 9. It'll take 9 times more material to clothe this person than it does the doll that is 1/3 its size. What question did they ask you? The amount of material required to clothe the doll is what fraction the amount of material to clothe the infant. So it should be doll over infant. 1 dowel, 9 on the infant. You need 1/9 the material for the dowel. 9 times for this, or if you know this, it's 1/9 times for that. Gosh, I thought that worked something.
Wait, the answer's 1/9.
1/9.
Sensei.
Alright,
Sensei.
for tomorrow, let us do 7 through, let's go 18.
7.
Bad.
7 through 18 on 108.
I am comfortable playing the karate chop.
It fits perfect.
Ha ha. Ha ha. Karate chop.